Now, the COVID-19 pandemic slowed down Kenya's economic growth from 5.4% in 2019 all the way to 0.6% in 2020. Now, the growth was projected to bounce back to around 6.6% in 2021, but only if supported by a stable macroeconomic environment and the return of full economic activities. The government says its economic stimulus program has created over 100,000 jobs and cushioned the vulnerable at the time of the pandemic. But for Fredrick, Opondo and Enzzy, Otieno, this is yet to trickle down to them. They take stock of their own budgets and share their own expectations of Kenya's largest budget in history.
Fredrick Opondo has been a mechanic in Nairobi since 2010. The father of four who works as a supervisor in this garage near Otieno Market says times are getting tougher. He estimates the cumulative earnings in this garage at 500,000 shillings a year before the pandemic. But now he tells us it's difficult to quantify just how much the 50 mechanics employed here have earned, especially at the onset of the pandemic when containment measures were put in place and they had to stay at home.
Nilikuwa ninapata 50k lakini kwa sasa napata 20. Kwa sababu hata ile nilikuwa nayo nimetumia yote mpaka nimekopa. So kwa sasa ninaishi kwa deni.
To survive, he also relies on a side hustle as a football coach, and also he has had to tighten his purse strings at home and cut out what isn't essential to sustain his family.
Sawa, unajua Kibaki hakuwa mtu wa kuongea, alikuwa mtu wa vitendo. Kiuchumi naweza kumbuka wakati ule walikuwa wanasema uchumi ilikuwa inapanda na 7%, lakini kwa sasa tunaona uchumi inapungua na 5%, imekuwa ikireduce.
Fredrick isn't exaggerating. In 2020, Kenya's economy was affected by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and the attendant containment measures. Consequently, economic growth is estimated to have slowed down to 0.6% in 2020 from 5.4% in 2019. Growth is projected to bounce back to around 6.6% in 2021, supported by a stable macroeconomic environment, expected favorable weather, and ongoing COVID-19 vaccinations that will allow the resumption of full economic activities. The government says under its economic stimulus program, over 100,000 jobs for youth in urban settlements have been created under Kazi Mtaani. Further, it has provided 3 billion shillings as seed capital to de-risk lending to MSMEs and given an additional 10 billion shillings transferred to the vulnerable and the emerging vulnerable as a result of the pandemic. This cushioning hasn't trickled down to everyone. And as Okuriatani, the Treasury CS delivered the 3.6 trillion budget, Fredrick lowered his expectations.
So tunatarajia unga ishuke, tunatarajia mafuta ishuke. Kama sasa unaona mafuta hata ya kukaanga boga imekuwa shida, imefika 200 per liter kutoka kwa 120 mpaka sasa tunakula mboga bila mafuta. Inchi hata ikiwa na maendeleo lakini wananchi wanateseka, wako na njaa, hatutafeel hiyo maendeleo.
It is Joe Biden who said, "Don't show me what you value, show me your budget and I will know what you value." For many Kenyans who do not have a stable monthly income and have to survive on their daily earnings, making a monthly or a yearly budget may not be realistic. The impact of the coronavirus on the economy has not just been felt here in the capital, Nairobi, but in every part of this country.
In Nyamome village in Migori, 26-year-old Enzzy Otieno, who was working in the hospitality industry, is unable to secure a job. She has opted, along with 36 others sharing her fate, to look for a job in Saudi Arabia.
Nilikuwa nafanya kazi kwa hoteli Malindi. Nilikuwa nafanya kama waitress. Vile hiyo COVID-19 niliingia kazi tukapoteza. Nikarudi nyumbani.
She is struggling to make ends meet, and as the budget reading was continuing, she listened in, hoping to glean something meaningful.
Matarajio yangu ni vijana kama sisi wadogo wapate kazi hapa.
Dorcas Wangira, Citizen TV, Nairobi.